Love it!
SeaMeCycle too.
Didn't go through France last time, and France is an important country, obviously, for Belgium, for England, and for our project.
He was slowing me down. I was like, "Come on, man!" And I just overtook him.
Baby, high five! Watch out!
Whoa, shit! Are you sure? Didn't see that one coming.
Easy peasy. No problem.
No problem. No sweat.
You need to have to be always eating.
Because the energy is completely gone. Think about your back. Come on! Yeah!
Yay! Look at these alpha males.
It's also 100 years after the beginning of World War I, and it's such an important topic for all the countries involved in the project that it made really good sense to go ride around, call it a remembrance ride.
The front line intersected with the North Sea in Newport, Belgium.
50% of the tours that I make are indeed on a bicycle. I take visitors to the old Western Front. 100 years ago, this is where they fought. Germans, Belgian troops, British troops, Commonwealth forces. Live hand grenades. That's a Lee Enfield rifle, British rifle. Hand grenade. See, that is how it looks with the clay on. It's the size of a potato. He died a noble death. Indeed, the largest Commonwealth military cemetery there is in the world. So that tells us a lot about the scale of the slaughter. We have two cemeteries in one. This cemetery is beautifully designed, all in straight rows, evenly spaced. That's the work of architects after the war. But when you go to the heart of the cemetery, that is where you see that the headstones, they're not in straight rows, they're not evenly spaced. The soldiers buried their friends there in 1917. And when soldiers bury other soldiers, they don't do it like architects. We created a barrier that the Germans couldn't cross. So the Germans had to march around it. And that is how they arrived here, Ypres.
I came here today to represent my grandfather who was killed on Hill 60 in 1950.
It's very kind and generous of the Belgian people to keep it up as long as they have.
Everyone is silent and the trumpets. It's impressive. You could see a lot of emotion on the faces of the people around. Probably have relatives or family who must have died here.
We're here to talk to the audience of the Bike Friendly Cities Conference. This is the final conference of the European project, which is financed through Interreg 2Cs. We're going to talk about the SeaMeCycle tours of last year and the one of this year.
Give them to the ladies.
Oh, how sweet! And one for who?
The poppy, it used to grow on the front line, so that's why it's the symbol of the British soldier from the First World War.
And for French, there is this bleuet, it's a blue one, and it's also a symbol for a French soldier.
We use the poppy as in our logo because it's connected with our theme.
It's a little bit cold in the beginning, but once your body gets used to it, it's fine. Later.
Trying to capture the moments where we are at the memorials and at the graveyards. I think that nobody stays indifferent to it. The shore is something also that is part of the history of the war. They had cannons installed and they had bunkers.
Why was this used during the First World War?
Because of the Fort de Ville. Part of it was constructed before the First World War because it was close to the Maginot Line. In the Second World War it has also been used by the Germans. This one is French. May look like German, but if you look well, you can see the yellow bricks inside. So it was after, I think, the Germans fortified it or something.
SeaMeCycle 2 for us is about participating in this project again.
The Pool of Peace is in the Westhoek one of the biggest craters. He was there because of the Germans were over there. And in 1917, the Allied forces blow a lot of hills around Ypres with mining techniques. The result is you have one of the nicest spots in the Westhoek.
I let him die. Oh Lord!
You had no choice.
I find
it's very fun that we can be a part of the group for even one night that we are together and one morning.
This is the very first time I'm at the bunker. It's going well. Yeah? It's a nice atmosphere here.
Bonjour!
This ship is from 1929. We are doing guiding tours, so by bike, on foot, and about First World War, ecology. This was really the front over here. So this side, my side, Germans were here. The other side of the river, the Allies were over here. Germans were fighting against other ones, but the other ones, there were about 50 nationalities over here.
It's a memorial for Indians that were fighting here.
We'll sign it for SeaMeCycle 8.
This one it says Portugal, so 1917-1918, and it says unknown Portuguese military.
All right, thanks.
When I take a picture of a cemetery, there are all those people lying there, and all those people have stories. So in one frame you can capture like 100 or 1,000 stories.
As a radio maker, I don't need the images or the pictures, I don't need them. Sound is already enough.
I tried to make a portrait about Davy, a young photographer, and I thought this is a great spot to tell something.
I'm in Belgium now, and now I'm on the border, and now I'm in France. I think it's a good day today to put the flag of the peace. We are in Dixmude, and there is a special museum for peace or for commemoration of the First World War.
Boulogne-sur-Mer, take one.
Along the route of SeaMeCycle, I'm telling stories about soldiers, people who are important during the war. You've researched so much on this person in particular, you know the story so well, and then you're there at that grave of that person, and it's a really cool moment, and it's also cool that you're telling the story further to people about them, so that's good.
There are so many things related to war in this area that you can't miss them. If you are with a car, you will see them. If you are with a bicycle, maybe you stop more easily.
I'm proud of all these people, and I'm really happy to see that we can do good things together.